Small and nimble, it could go where bigger trucks didn't stand a chance and looked like a big, clumsy elephant in a china shop. It was used on narrow city streets, where it delivered cargo right to the door of a shop or house. This is the DAF Pony, a delivery truck that was ahead of its time and never truly appreciated on the automotive market. The inspiration for the future DAF Pony mini truck came from the development of a military utility vehicle capable of handling various types of terrain. Such a project was not an initiative of the Dutch themselves. Back in the early 60s, American military officials approached DAF with a request to slightly improve and make their self-propelled motorized platform, the M247, also known as the mechanized mule, more user-friendly. By its design, it was an open, all-wheel drive 4x4 motorized platform with a payload capacity of 450 kilograms, which the military used as a transporter and tractor. Various types of weaponry were also mounted on it: machine guns, light cannons, and anti-tank missile systems. The mechanical mule was in service with airborne and infantry battalions. Its production began in 1956. Thanks to its high off-road capability, low profile, and relatively light weight of 361 kilograms, the cargo platform was actively used by American troops during the Vietnam War. A distinctive feature of this vehicle's design was its movable steering column and removable driver's seat. It would seem to be a fully functional, maneuverable platform with high efficiency, achieved precisely thanks to its simplicity and unpretentiousness. So, how to make it more comfortable without sacrificing functionality is unclear. But the company DAF took on this order. And already in 1965, without abandoning the theme of autoed pack animals in the name, they presented their own version of a motorized all-wheel drive platform, the DAF YM500 Pony. Overall, the vehicle was very similar to the American one, but the Dutch still managed to make it more comfortable. Instead of a manual gearbox and 3 pedals, the all-terrain platform received a 2-stage variomatic variator, which greatly simplified driving the vehicle, especially on rough terrain. DAF also made the layout more efficient. They placed the engine in the center on the right, and the 2-stage variator on the left. The first platforms were equipped with a 2-cylinder boxer engine producing 14 horsepower. Later, the car received a new power unit with 34 horsepower. The DAF Pony was quite convenient and compact, but somewhat heavier than its American counterpart, 500 kilograms versus 361 kilograms. This difference in weight was due to the different materials used to manufacture the two vehicles. The construction of the American Mechanical Mule made extensive use of aluminum-magnesium alloys. In contrast, the Dutch motorized platform was made from good old steel. As compensation for its greater weight, the Pony platform received a higher payload capacity, 500 kilograms compared to 450. On the outside, everything looked pretty good, but during field tests, the machine didn't deliver the results everyone had hoped for. During off-road runs, significant shortcomings were discovered. The exposed variator, which was located under the platform, kept getting clogged with mud and would seize up. There were also problems with the low placement of the engine and transmission, which significantly reduced the ground clearance. Quite often, when overcoming uneven terrain, the DAF Pony would simply bottom out. The conclusions from these tests were disappointing. Constant problems with the variator and the complex system of shafts under the vehicle's platform could jeopardize the completion of combat missions. The M247 Mechanical Mule, despite all its shortcomings, was a much more reliable vehicle that was quite difficult to immobilize while moving over rough terrain. So, when choosing between survivability and comfort, the American military chose the former. They abandoned the DAF all-terrain platform, and the units that had already been built ended up in private hands. It would seem that after such a failure, the self-propelled all-wheel drive platform project should have been buried for good. In a sense, that's exactly what happened, but they didn't abandon the design itself, just the concept of how it would be used. Sometimes, to make your product successful, all you need to do is change how people perceive its function. That's exactly the path DAF decided to take. The military wasn't interested in the vehicle, not a problem. There's still the civilian market left to conquer. After all, features like the DAF Pony's compact size, maneuverability, and automatic transmission make it perfect for all sorts of jobs on narrow city streets, where there isn't enough space for large vans or trucks, and you don't have to keep your hand on the gear lever or your foot on the clutch pedal when you're stopped at an intersection or stuck in traffic. and its good driving performance will be very useful for farmers when carrying out transport work in off-road field conditions. That's why the DAF Pony project continued, but now as a fully fledged all-wheel drive mini truck. Specifically, in order to turn a simple self-propelled platform into a real truck that would meet all the safety standards required for use on public roads, DAF had to use other developments related to the construction of a small insulated van from the MD project, which was intended for transporting milk. By combining the technologies of the first with the plans of the second, DAF created both a truck version and a tractor unit version. And already in 1967, small-scale production of this unique hybrid of a truck and a van began. The DAF Pony was built on the basis of the components and assemblies of the DAF 44 microcar. From it, the truck inherited a 2-cylinder, 4-stroke, boxer engine with a displacement of 844 cubic centimeters and a power output of 40 horsepower, as well as a 2-stage variomatic transmission, which was developed in the 1950 S60S by DAF engineers led by Hub Van Dorn. A similar transmission, which allowed the truck to reach a speed of 70 km per hour, was the ideal solution for performing various tasks within the city and its surroundings. The mini truck received its air filter and carburetor from the DAF 33 car. Since the DAF Pony was conceived as a workhorse, it lacks any elements of luxury. There is no door trim, no interior lining, and passengers sit on 2 plastic chairs. Such seats were advertised by DAF as ultra-modern and trendy plastic chairs. But in reality, behind such a pompous name was a completely practical purpose. Because the base version of the DAF Pony Type 1010 had no roof, regular seats could get wet. That's why it was decided to install unusual plastic seats in the car. The open cab of the base version of the mini truck had a simple, boxy design with a semi-bonnet layout. As an option, you could order a roof and rear wall for the cab made of polyester, as well as 2 middle doors. There was also a simpler option with a canvas roof. Another optional accessory, which was not included in the standard package but could be installed on the vehicle, was a heater. In addition to the truck, the DAF Pony was also available as a tractor unit with a semi-trailer. It was produced in 2 modifications, Type 1050 with a single-axle semi-trailer with dual tires, and Type 1051, a single-axle semi-trailer with single tires. The tractor unit could tow semi-trailers with a total weight of 2.5 tons. Even during the testing of prototype models, the truck attracted considerable public interest and received many positive reviews. This gave the Dutch company hope for the future commercial success of the new project. It was planned to produce about 5,000 DAF Pony trucks annually, but the launch of the vehicle into mass production did not meet expectations. Sales were sluggish, even though the demand for trucks with such characteristics was high both in cities and on farms. At that time, the European automotive market was not yet ready for such mini trucks, which were intended for use in cities. The role of delivery vehicles was assigned to traditional vans, which were produced in large numbers by global automotive companies. Perhaps in other countries with less developed road networks and a larger rural population, such delivery trucks would have enjoyed considerable popularity. But the Dutch themselves did not appreciate the DAF Pony, preferring regular vans. In total, during the production run, which lasted until 1969, 700 trucks were built. Perhaps, with their concept of a delivery truck, DAF was ahead of its time, since nowadays similar mini trucks are quite popular around the world, especially in Japan, where such vehicles are classified as a separate category, K-Tora, light truck, or simply K-Truck. They're popular not only in Japan. For the overcrowded and less affluent countries of Southeast Asia, these trucks are a real find, as they allow for easy maneuvering through the streets of sprawling megacities. In recent years, this class of mini trucks has gained particular popularity in the United States. In certain states, they are approved for use on local roads, while in other states, starting from October 2024, the use of K-trucks on the roads is prohibited. As for the DAF Pony, as of today, about 46 of these trucks are still located in the Netherlands. And considering current trends of rising fuel prices and the ongoing problem of traffic jams in cities, this type of mini truck is becoming more and more popular every year.